Hi, I'm Alex Schreiber. I'm an undergraduate student in the Bachelor of Science program within the School of Conflict Analysis and Resolution at George Mason University. I'm here to talk to you today about Karen Matthews' 2013 article, Critical Pedagogies in Health Education. Oh, wait, this isn't my academic getup. No justice, no. Wait. Back to the academics, I swear. Karen Matthews uses Paulo Freire's three-phase model for critical pedagogy and applies it to health education to highlight its use as empowering to members of minority and marginalized communities, to help identify health disparities and their ability to change them from their positionality. Summarizing her work here, I'll outline Freire's three-phase model and the potential and value of its use in health education. Here we go. Critical pedagogy, defined by Paulo Freire, is underpinned by critical theory and the belief that change is possible through a process of raising awareness and promoting a desire to take transformative action. It can be used to provide effective health education because it supports the understanding that health is a holistic concept, which, defined by the World Health Organization, is created and lived by people within the setting of their everyday life. Holistic health occurs where people learn, work, play, and love. The three-phase model that Paulo Freire develops with critical pedagogy is based on listening and naming, dialogue and reflection, and finally, promoting transformative social action. The first step, naming, focuses on learning the problems, issues, and real-world experiences for learners. The second step, dialogue and reflection, facilitates problem-posing education. This means that there are no predetermined answers to the problems. Teachers reposition themselves to focus on the process of learning, still referring back to the first step and listening to the students' concerns, as opposed to focusing on the outcomes through traditional pedagogy. Third, for reflection and dialogue, students will come up with their own ideas about what actions to take, rather than having other people's ideas imposed on them. Turning our attention first to the naming phase. This bottom-up, or generative approach draws issues from learners' daily life. This has appealed to health educators because the naming phase enables learners to identify their own issues and problems. The empowerment of critical pedagogy, especially in health education, is an invaluable tool for professionals working with minority or marginalized populations who may believe they are powerless to change their life. Teachers use this process of discovery to bring what students are worried about to the surface for creative approaches to problem solving together. This step can also include codification. Code is a physical representation of an identified community issue. Codes can be case studies, role plays, stories, slideshows, photographs, songs, pictures, YouTube videos, or poetry. An effective code is able to show a problem or social issue that has many sides. For example, these music videos from Run the Jewels and Flying Lotus featuring Kendrick Lamar confront the lived realities of police killings and disparities in health and mortality in Black America.
When I'm gone, ain't no blood pumping, no fear. I got hope inside of my bones. This that life beyond your own life. This ain't physical for mankind. This that out of body experience. No coincidence, you been died. It's your death. Run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, run them, fuck the slow-mo.
The forehead engravers, enslavers of men and women, including members of clergy that rule on you through religion.
So strip your kids to the nude and then tell them God will forgive them.
Run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, hey, run them.
It's the only thing that close quicker than our caskets be the factory.
Run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, run them jewels fast, run them
slow-mo.
The listening and naming phase helps set up the dialogue and reflection phase by repositioning teachers to be learners alongside the students. The listening and naming phase also gives students the opportunity to name problems from their daily life to discuss and try and solve. Listening to students and understanding their lived realities is the first step in empowerment built into the three-phase model of critical pedagogy. This is built on further in the second phase, dialogue and reflection. Key components of this second phase of the Freirean model help learners to name and challenge the ideas and practices that support inequality. Learners consider the situation depicted in the code and problemize the situation by asking why and why not questions. This gives them the opportunity to challenge assumptions, expose inequalities, and seek out and establish practices that are more socially equitable. Part of the process is ensuring that learners have ownership and are actively engaged in the learning. Involve the teacher in some kind of power-sharing arrangement with the students. Pedagogical techniques that can be used to facilitate power sharing include the use of authentic questions and a repositioning technique. Authentic questions are where the asker doesn't already know the answer. Repositioning is another technique a teacher can use to relinquish authority and expertise within the dialogue. The teacher deliberately acknowledges their limitation, thereby empowering students as equal participants, and students and teachers can learn from each other. A classroom power-sharing arrangement can help to establish and sustain dialogue and reflection as a key component of critical pedagogy, where learning is considered to be constructed through social interaction. It's essential that health education provides learning environments which are inclusive, open spaces where multiple voices and perspectives can be heard and acknowledged. The final phase in the Freirean model is the action phase. This is what Freire refers to as praxis. Ideally, this should be a continuous process where learners act, reflect on their action, and then take further action. This can look like campaigning to raise awareness of an issue, or to convince a government to change a policy, or it can look like providing further education to equip their peers as learners with the tools they need to identify inequality and injustice so that they are empowered to enact change at any level they desire. The three-phase model offers a practical way to implement critical pedagogy in health education. It encourages learning that focuses on the interests and concerns of learners and allows them to develop their own solutions to problems through a process of dialogue and reflection. Teaching in this way is to create change, which requires an acknowledgement that the process of change is often difficult and slow, and a continuing process, not merely a single event. However, it's worth putting time and energy into implementing critical pedagogy in health education to provide learning that takes into account the complexity of health and challenges learners to think critically about the social, cultural, economic, political, and environmental determinants of health and the effect of these on individuals and populations. As we can see, using the three-phase model in health education must involve the acceptance and the central premise of Freire's critical pedagogy, that education cannot be neutral, that it either reinforces or challenges existing social forces. When challenging the existing social forces, health teachers need to expect and plan to deal with strong emotion and possible conflict. Creating spaces for dialogue and exchange can present a challenge for educators. Specifically, power sharing can be difficult when both educators and learners have always practiced a traditional pedagogy. Situating discussion and dialogue in small groups, referred to by Freire as culture circles, can make it easier for learners to contribute to discussion and educators or teachers to accept power sharing arrangements in the classroom. Critical pedagogy is based on dialogue rather than transmission, and it will be an ongoing process in health education of working to overcome the challenges that have reinforced and maintained cyclic and generational health disparities so that we can imagine a world of social justice and health equality. Thank you for watching my video summarizing Karen Matthews' 2013 essay, Critical Pedagogy in Health Education, from the Health Education Journal, published in November of that year. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer. See ya.